Welcome to a series on Python for Lightwave. Python is new to Lightwave version 11, so this is very exciting for scripters and plugin writers, and for artists as well. Programming tends to be an area we as artists ignore and leave to those people that never picked up a brush after grade school. I've dabbled myself in programming off and on, but stuck with visual arts because of the immediate response it gave me. Um, and programming doesn't do that. It's not sexy and will probably only serve to eliminate some small areas, issues, annoyances in your artistic life. But these issues may be causing your art to take you a little bit longer than it should or would be necessary if you just had a simple script to carry out a particular task. So my goal with this series, as I learn Python as well, is to get other Lightwave artists interested in Python and help create some dialogue in the community. Okay, so with the introduction out of the way, here we go. So why Python? Lightwave already has LScript, so why bother? Rob Powers made a really great point in their Lightwave reveal how LScript was a great language, but it was its own island, meaning outside of Lightwave, LScript has no context or importance. Much like MailScript is to Maya, and probably a good reason why Maya incorporated Python as well. So let's look at how we use Python in Lightwave. Go to the Utilities tab in either Layout or Modeler. We're going to stick with Modeler for now. Utilities, and over here on the Python section, we've got two buttons. We've got Open Console and Python. The Python button will just run a saved .py file and will probably be where you use Python the most. The console button opens the pcore window. Let's do that. There we go. And lets you enter Python code just like you would in, say, idle or any other Python interpreter. So we'll start with the pcore console window because that's the fastest area. Okay, so this top portion area right here, this is the log area and the output window. As you type Python lines in, they'll be logged up here. Also, as you request output, say for like a print function, that output will appear up here as well. And the buttons that we have in this window, clear log, which just clears this section, save log, which if you wanted to save this information, this output or any program that you've written, you can save that to a file, a text file. Open on error. This checkbox is for when you're running a python.py file, and if there's an error that the interpreter encounters, it will pop open this console window and say, hey, I've got an error. Max lines, that just tells the interpreter how many lines of code you want to be able to display before it starts getting those out of memory. Here is the actual area where we input our Python code. This is for single line mode. This little twirl down, that opens up for multi-line. So you can type in multiple lines at a time, and then you'll need to hit Control Return to actually execute those lines. We're going to stick with the single line for now. So let's have an example that answers a question that keeps creeping up on the New Tech forums. What version of Python do I need? Well, let's have a look at that. Let's type in sys.version, and that's the standard Python command for bringing you the version that you have installed. So as we can see here, 2.7.2 is what comes installed with Lightwave 11. Yes, Python 3 is out. Yes, Python 2.7 has reached end of dev cycle. So why not include Python 3? I don't know. I'm sure they had an answer for that, but here we are with 2.7.2, so we're going to just move forward with that. Okay, and so keeping with tradition, let's use everyone's favorite example, hello world. Yes, it's tired, but it works. So let's do that. Our Python print statement, print string hello world. And there we are. We have the log, which logs the code that we've typed in, and then the output, which also gets displayed into the log window. So easy enough. But more than likely, you'll want your program to interact with Lightwave's interface API if you want to display information to them. So let's have a go with this Hello World example again. But this time we're going to use the input um, window and get that information to the user. So first, we actually need to import a library to do this. There we go. And after we've imported that library, now we can call classes, methods, and functions of that particular library that we didn't have before importing. Okay, there we go. So here is our info window displaying information to the user, hello world, and the info window only has one interactive um, element, which is this OK button. Okay, so not too bad. Let's dissect this. If you've worked with LScript, you'll probably notice this was just a little bit more complex to do in Python. First, we're using the info method right here, which is very similar to the LScript function. This info method is part of the Lightwave message funcs class, which itself is part of the Lightwave SDK library. So that's why we had to import that Lightwave SDK library first, so that we can access this class and this method. So let's go a little deeper. If we wanted to get some more information on this class or this method, we can do some help in the help function here. SDK.lightwave message funcs. Oops, and this is case sensitive. And there we go. So here is the help for the Lightwave message funcs class, and there you go, built-in object, da 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 da, methods defined here. So scrolling down through here, we can see all the different methods that we have for Lightwave message funcs, and here's our info. Here we go. It takes itself, character argument 1, character argument 2, and that character argument 2 we didn't utilize. That's why we used Python's built-in none for that second argument. Otherwise, we would have gotten an error. And likewise, if you didn't want to see all of this, but you just wanted to get some help on the info method itself, we can just type that in, and we'll do a little shortcut here. We double-click on one of our last lines that we input and got logged, and then we'll just add .info, and there we go. We can return help on just that one particular method. Okay, so that's all well and good, and like I said before, you're probably going to run everything off of a .py file and not just import everything into the P console. So let's take a look at a Hello World example with a .py file. So I'm going to clear that log, close our window so we get that out. Python and Hello World. Let's open that up. There we go. This looks exactly the same as what we had typed in before. Info window, information, OK button. Great. Okay, so what does that actually look like in the Python code? Well, if we go over to that code and open that up, wow, that's considerably longer than the couple of lines that we typed into the pcore interpreter window. Well, I believe what happens is in the interpreter window within Lightwave, a lot of this stuff is taken care of for you. A lot of these elements are necessary elements for the interpreter to tell Python, hey, this .py file is a Lightwave plugin, and let's run it. So we've got some hashbang tags here. We've got a description of the plugin. Here we've got an import, like we had done. Information about the plugin, author, copyright, yada yada yada. And these are actually pretty interesting because you don't have to have any fields filled out, but all of these fields have to be there, where the interpreter will say, hey, this is not a valid plugin, and will give you an error and it will not run. So we're just going to take a brief look at this since this is the introduction part 1 section. We're defining our class, which is the plugin itself. Go through, and we've got our call that we made, Lightwave SDK, Lightwave message functs, info, and none, and then we return for a OK button, server tags to initialize the actual plugin, and there you are. A lot more complicated to do in a .py file, but this is how it's going to go forward if you want to write a plugin in Python. So that's it for part 1. I look forward to getting deeper into this and seeing what you fellow waivers have to say, and thanks for watching.